Hey, I am super excited because today we're going to take these Prime Ark Freedom Blackberries and get them in ground. I've been waiting a while for these and I'm really excited about getting these set up and done. So I'm going to take you in this video and walk you through why we chose the Prime Ark Freedom Blackberries, a little bit of details about them. Then I'm going to show you how we prepare the beds that we've kind of already got set up to put them in ground. I'm going to go through the planting process and then show you a couple of tips and tricks to keep them alive. So follow along if you're interested in learning how to plant Prime Ark Freedom Blackberries. So why did we choose these Prime Ark Freedom Blackberries? So I don't know if you know this, but blackberries come in 3 different specific types. There's trailing, semi-trailing, and erect. And these Prime Ark Freedoms were developed in Arkansas, and they are an erect variety of blackberry. What that means is that they don't need a trellis. They'll grow standing straight up. Additionally, these are a thornless variety blackberry, which means you don't have to deal with thorns when you harvest them. Now, some people say that the thornless varieties are not as potent and not as sweet, but if you've ever dealt with a blackberry bush and having to clear out blackberry brambles, it's absolutely worth it to not have to deal with your arms being covered in stickers. Lastly, the reason we chose these blackberries is that there are also 2 variations on how they fruit. There are primocane and floricane fruiting blackberries, which means primocane, they fruit on the first year's growth, and floricane means that they fruit on the second year's growth. So these are a primocane variety, and what that really means is that I should get these nice, big, juicy fruit in the first year of planting. So we are super excited to get these going. So this right here is the bed that I'm gonna put my blackberries in. But before I get into the bed preparation, if you notice, this channel is brand new. There's probably less than 10 subscribers when this video pops out. So if you find the information in this useful or you enjoy following along, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. Additionally, one of the reasons that we are so excited about putting these blackberries in ground is this will be the first plant that I've planted myself in our new property. So I did a little bit of gardening in the past in my previous house, but we actually just bought a new place in April and we are super excited to get this homestead going. So if you're interested in following along with us on that journey, I would really appreciate it if you give this video a like, a subscribe, and honestly, even more important than that, drop a comment in the section down below. Let me know what you're interested in seeing as we build this brand new homestead for ourselves. All right, so let's talk about bed preparation. So I built this bed about 4 or 5 months ago just because I was so excited to get these set up. And what I did is I went ahead and put in a layer of topsoil, and then I have a bunch of compost that I've made myself. So I also put that in there. So this has been composted, and then I laid over this weed fabric. And the goal was for it to keep the weeds down, as well as to keep the soil moisturized and let the compost break down even further. Now, it didn't work out perfectly. As you can see, I still have weeds in this bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and have to clean out all these weeds to get the process started. And I'm gonna go ahead and just use this weeding hoe that I have. This tool is really great for removing weeds out of the garden. It also helped me even out some of the uneven spaces on this. And if you see me favoring one arm, it's because I actually had surgery on my shoulder about 2 weeks ago. So everything's fine, I'll be all right, but I may be favoring one side over the other. All right, so I've kind of got the soil cleaned out and I've got that taken care of. So what I'm gonna do next is actually go ahead and figure out exactly where I'm gonna put the plants. And I'm gonna do that in a different way than some people. I obviously know I have enough to fit 6 blackberry plants in this bed. because I need about 4 foot of spacing between each. Unfortunately, you can buy them on Amazon, but they come in packs of 8. So 6 of them are gonna go into the bed, and then I'm gonna do 2 in pots. And I may not get to the pots today, so if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and let me know in the comments that you'd be interested in seeing how I plant these in pots. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some cardboard put down on this and use that to serve as a weed barrier so that these weeds that I've kind of pulled up and disturbed the roots on, they don't come back on me. All right, so I've got my cardboard. Now, obviously you want to try your best to remove all the tape from the cardboard. I've done that with most of these already, but there's still probably a couple of pieces. By the way, save your cardboard. We all get Amazon boxes and packages, and all of this came from 2 recliners that I just recently bought. And I have used cardboard in the garden and on my homestead so much. If you're interested, that's actually, I think it's a really good video idea for me to do on how to, or the different uses for cardboard on a homestead. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this process started. I've got my, if I can find them. One second while I go find my electric scissors. Okay, so I've got my electric scissors. If you've never used these, they're awesome. These are Ryobi, so they had to have come from like Home Depot, but you can find them anywhere. They are super easy to cut out cardboard. All right, next, let's talk about spacing. So I'm gonna go 2 feet from the end of each bed, and then I'm gonna put them every 4 feet. And if I did my math properly, I should be able to fit 6 in this bed. By the way, keep an eye on this water bottle because I'm gonna use this to do some really cool tricks to show you towards the end of the video. So keep watching. Okay, so I got my little X's marked in order to see exactly where I'm gonna put my plants. It doesn't need to be exact. I just like to be a little more efficient. But next I'm gonna take the bottom of this water bottle because I want my holes where the plants are gonna go to be slightly bigger than the bottom of this water bottle. And I'll show you why, like I said, at the end of the video. So I'm gonna go ahead, basically put the water bottle down, draw a circle around it wherever I put my X marks. All right, next I'm gonna take my scissors. Actually, I'm probably gonna use the electric scissors to get to the center, and I'm just gonna cut those holes out. Basically, I want the holes big enough for one of those water bottles to fit in the middle. All right, so now it's time to get these holes dug where I'm gonna put these blackberries. And one of the things that I was told, at least when I was doing my research, is that you don't want to bury these any deeper than what is in the pot, right? So apparently you don't want to cover like where they're just coming out of the ground. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and cut one of these cheap pots. And use it as a guide for how deep I want to dig this out. And I'm just gonna do it with my finger because these are not very big. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm gonna do that all the way down. But before I put these in the ground, I'm gonna show you a little secret ingredient that I'm gonna use that's gonna really make these things take off. So let's go ahead and do the rest of these, and then I'll show you the last little piece or the little ingredient before I put it into the ground. All right, so these right here are my secret ingredient. And I know what you're thinking, Sean, what is that? It's just dirt. No, these are premium quality worm castings. These are full of microbiological life. So basically I've taken compost and then fed it to some worms, and then what came out is this right here. So it's got tons of healthy organic material. It's got tons of microbiological life, which allows the plants to absorb the stuff that is in the compost and in the soil. And since I'm not going to go ahead and start by fertilizing, I want these to establish without any fertilizer, I'm going to put just a little bit of this worked into the hole and then around the plant as well. By the way, if you want to know how we run our worm setup, just go ahead and drop that in the comments as well so that I know that's something that folks are interested in learning about. Because I absolutely love this stuff. I absolutely love raising worms. All right, now that I've got my worm castings in the hole, I'm also gonna work some into the soil around each plant. But I'm gonna take and just kind of, you see how the roots have kind of circled the bottom there? I don't want that, that's root bound. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of squeeze this and try and loosen up this compact soil a little bit to try and loosen up some of these roots without damaging them. There we go. And then I'm gonna put these into the hole and then tamp down around the area, but I also don't wanna make it concrete hard, if that makes sense. So I just wanna make sure that they're held firmly in place, and then I'm gonna work in a little bit more of that premium worm castings. These are also really great for moisture retention. All right, so now I've gotten these guys in ground. I've got my worm casting spread around them, and it's time to show you where the water bottle is gonna come into effect. And I think this is a really cool trick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take and finish this water, and I'm gonna cut the bottom off of this water bottle and take off the plastic. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and set this over top of the plant. And this is gonna serve a couple of purposes for me. One, it's mid-February right now. So in zone 8B, we're probably done with all the frost for the year, but there's still the potential for us to get hit with maybe one more. And this is gonna serve as a mini greenhouse to protect those plants if we get hit with a frost. Additionally, they say that when you lay mulch on these, you wanna keep the mulch back from the base of the plant to prevent any type of rot or disease coming in contact with your plant. Well, this is gonna create a little barrier around the plant that helps me not over mulch the area and to prevent the plant from getting too much mulch by the base. Lastly, I have chickens, and they free range and they love to run around. And I don't want the chickens to come over here and attack these baby blueberry plants. So this is gonna serve three purposes for me. So all I'm gonna do, cut off the bottom, put it over the plant, and allow the plant to grow through it. Once the plant becomes established and healthier, and I'm past the potential of a frost or a freeze, I'll go ahead and take these off. By the way, these little bottoms right here, I don't know if you can see it because I can't see my camera, but these little bottoms right here, if you poke a couple holes in the bottom of them, you've also got small seed starting trays. All right, so I've now got these blackberry plants in ground. I've got them protected from any type of winter weather. I've got them protected from chickens, and I actually got them watered because I had to dump out some of the water from the water bottles. So you want to keep them evenly moist. So I didn't want to drench them. I kind of spread out the water a little bit. But luckily this bed hasn't been watered in a little while, so it was actually kind of dry and the soil tended to drink up some of that water. So we're gonna move on to the last two steps, which is we're gonna lay down a layer of mulch. Now you can use whatever you like for mulch. Right now, I still have a ton of leaves on the ground, so I'm gonna use that and cover all of this cardboard with these leaves. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna water over it. And I wanna water it good, but I don't want it sopping. One of the things that I have to be careful of is cardboard, when it's dry, tends to be hydrophobic, which means that it repels water. So I do wanna go ahead and get this cardboard moist so that one, it tamps down a little bit and it stays lower to the ground and it doesn't rise up like you kind of see it in a couple of spots. I'll also go ahead and get some water, more water to the blackberry bushes, and I'll go ahead and do the same thing over top of my my leaves so that it's mulched down and they don't blow all over the yard. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that process started. And we're done. So we went ahead and got these Prime Ark Freedom blackberries in the ground. We kind of went over why we decided to get these Prime Ark Freedom blackberries. If you're interested in purchasing your own, I do have a link that leads to Amazon. It's not affiliate, so I don't get any commissions from it. And they come in packs of 4. We went ahead and prepared our beds. We got them ready, and hopefully here in the next couple of months, we will have some big, juicy blackberries ready to go. If you have any questions about this video, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Additionally, like I mentioned, this is my first video on this channel, so I don't have another video that I can link you to and send you to. But if you could do me a favor, subscribe, comment, like, share, whatever you feel most welcome to do or most willing to do, go ahead and do that for me. I'd really appreciate it. Also, let me know. I mentioned kind of a couple of other videos that I might do on this topic. Maybe I'll show the video of me putting them in pots so I can do my other 2 in a pot. I mentioned how I use cardboard on the homestead. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and let me know about that as well. Anyways, my name is Sean Nichols. I'm with the Nichols Family Farmstead, and I look forward to seeing you soon.